funny how you've just used a bunch of digital examples to analogize Bitcoin trading cards, because a decade ago you'd have to try to explain what digital versions would be, but we've moved so digital that it is almost unique to have almost an oddity, a novelty, to have a physical trading card. But you guys have a huge fan base. I was telling you also before we started recording that last year at the Bitcoin conference there was just nonstop flow of people at your table. I'm curious to know what have the responses been. Obviously, people who know Bitcoin, like Bitcoin, they love the product. But what's been the response from people maybe who aren't Bitcoiners, who have started to understand Bitcoin because of what you guys are creating?
It's been amazing. The coolest part is all the way down to like 8-year-olds, 12-year-olds. That's about the right time. They're into trading cards already. Trading cards are really popular after COVID and everything that happened then. So we got this new insurgence of the hobby just exploding. So definitely kids are all about the cards, but really the biggest audience I have and the biggest community demographic is late 30s and into their 60s. And that's one of the funnest parts, is getting people that are literally like, I haven't collected trading cards since I was a kid, and that was 40 something years ago. And this is like re-inspired my drive to collect trading cards. And one of the biggest things for a lot of people, whether they're into Bitcoin or not, is the art. Art is the universal language. So we've got videos and done some amazing reaching out to different networks that have went around the world to try to teach people about Bitcoin, and we've given away tens of thousands of packs of these cards to different friends in the space. There's a small community in the mountains of Peru, and they went to a school and basically handed these packs out to the kids in this little school, and the kids were opening the packs, and the oohing and awing, they just loved it, and none of them speak any English at all. It's the universal language of the artwork that it's inspiring. And I think the combination of what we have with the artwork, the simple education, the chase, there's something about that chase and the number go up. You have to have an incentive to want to learn something new. There are some people that are willing to spend their entire life studying anything and everything, and these are brilliant people, but these are very few and far between. To get your everyday person to literally try and learn something brand new for no particular reason. It's not for a job. It's not for something that they specifically have to do in life. It's just something you're trying to entice them to do. You better have a really good incentive. So the collectability of the trading cards and the chance to open a pack and potentially get a one of one or one of these really rare cards. The artwork is huge because we work with Bitcoin artists. So it could be you're a big fan of Maddox and you just keep ripping packs until you find that Maddox, or you got lucky in the first pack you opened, you pulled a Maddox. So I think all of these things combined is what really gets the community excited. And like when you were saying about the conferences, we do something very special with them where we've went to a lot of the conferences and created commemorative packs or commemorative cards, where when you go to these conferences, bringing something home for the family, most of our significant others or our children are not super interested in Bitcoin. And you can come home with a hat or a t-shirt or a bunch of publications that you got in your goodie bag or a magazine, but getting your wife or your kids or your husband really excited about something like that, if they're not into Bitcoin, probably not going to happen. But when you come home with a pack of trading cards or even one special commemorative card, and you have the limited edition card that represents that conference you went to, it'll attract all ages. And the coolest thing for me in that is my wife. Luckily, I have an office here where I get to display everything. But if I didn't, none of these things would be displayed in my house. My wife has things the way she likes it, and coming home with a bunch of magazines or a bunch of big posters or prints, they sadly would probably just go in a box somewhere in the garage, and that's where they would stay. But with these trading cards, you can literally hold something that's 3.5 inches by 2.5 inches, and that can fit just about anywhere. So the collectability of being able to keep these things for very, very long periods of time, pass them down to your kids, it's huge. And really the size of them makes a lot of the difference in that, of what you can keep and can't keep.
I don't know how well you keep up with the stats, but I'm sort of curious to know, especially since you're creating new cards for every single, at least primary main event in the Bitcoin ecosystem, how many unique cards, like how many different types of cards do you currently have? And then also, what are maybe some of the more common ones versus what are some of the one of ones that people would really like to get their hands on?
Okay, so first I will have to give you a little breakdown in your audience on the trading card market, because this is something that most people do not know. And again, it's more of the why. So the correlations between Bitcoin trading cards and Bitcoin are massive. And I'll explain it like this. You have the Federal Reserve or the IMF that has an endless money printer, and they can inflate the market to no extent. They can go forever. The trading card market is very similar. The more popular it gets, the more they're going to print. The majority of trading card projects like Pokemon, Wizards of the Coast, your sports cards, they will come out with a new set. It'll have a special theme to it, and they will not tell you how many packs or cards or anything exist in these sets, because if it sells really well, they want to print a lot more. So very similar to the Federal Reserve, depending on how the market is dependent on how much they print. So with us being a Bitcoin-only, Bitcoin-focused trading card project, I spent 4 years working on the ethos of our cards, and this project built off the ethos of Bitcoin. So one of the biggest things we do is finite supply, and this is something that's never been done before in trading cards. There may be little one-off sets that some of these companies will do, but for the most part, it's print on demand. So whenever we come out with something new, it's that number of whatever packs we print, and that's it. To give a little bit of an example, Pokemon could print upwards of 1 billion to even 3 billion packs a year, depending on the demand. We print on average, so far, it's been around 50 to 60,000 packs a year. So, and with every pack being, exactly how many of those packs are going to exist. So with each of our sets, each one is done a little bit different, and each person will have a different reason for why they want to collect it and which ones they want to collect. We have over here BitBlock Boom behind me. So that one is literally your 1980s flare cardboard. It just feels, smells, and looks old school. The nostalgia you get from that particular pack is amazing. It's boomers in Bitcoin, so you're going to collect Gary Leland, Bob Burnett, some of the most amazing boomers in Bitcoin, Larry Lepar. So you're going to have a particular person that's going to want to collect that. And then you have the whale packs, and these are specifically geared around showcasing the Bitcoin artists in the space. So Bitcoin artists, a lot of these guys, their artwork goes for top dollar or top sats, however you want to call it, and the chance to collect some of these pieces could be nearly impossible for a lot of people because of their price point and because of how scarce they are. But in our packs, you could potentially pull a Maddox 1 of 1, a Bitcoin Apex 1 of 1 for the price of a pack, and everyone has an equal opportunity and equal odds to be able to pull this out of any one of our packs. So I think this is what really makes these very special, is you can go specific to what your biggest interest is in Bitcoin. Because basically what we've done is we've captured the Bitcoin culture across the board. We work with Shamory, we work with Start9 and Cold Card, and you name it. If they're a Bitcoin only company and they're doing everything they can to do the right thing, then we reach out and ask them if they'd be cool with us creating a card for them, and they go into the resource category. Then we have the Bitcoin artists, we have the Bitcoin athletes, Bitcoin musicians, Bitcoin devs, the Bitcoin warriors, freedom fighters, you name it, they're all inside these sets that we create. So you're literally collecting Bitcoin culture in this moment. So it's time stamping this amazing revolution, evolution that we're all on right now. And to be able to look back, I mean, sadly, as the space grows and hyper Bitcoinization comes along, it's going to get bigger and bigger, the space. And a lot of these OGs that we all know being in Bitcoin, they're not going to be as well known when we have hundreds of millions of people in the Bitcoin space. And sadly, we will have people that come in from outside that are just here to basically play on Bitcoin and try to utilize the name to get more clout or whatever they're doing. So while we are here today, this is really time stamping the OG stages of Bitcoin, which I really appreciate coming from the cannabis industry and appreciating the OGs in the cannabis industry that took major risks to make the medical benefits of cannabis available for so many people. And now that the cannabis industry is fully legalized in a lot of places, these OGs are gone and you will never hear their name. And if you do, you're never going to know who they are. So I think there's a lot of very special things that we're doing with the cards in that way. And that makes the chase that much more incredible. Back to your main point after my long rant, the one of one just depends on what you're looking for.
Mm-hmm. Well, so talking about kind of the OGs, like I didn't really take Bitcoin too seriously until 2021. And I'm very familiar with Andreas Antonopoulos, but I never really listened to all that much of his stuff. Obviously, you know, you've seen him and whatever else, but it's just interesting. Even coming in 2021, there are a lot of people from the past that I wouldn't even recognize. And that's gonna be even more true in the next 4 or 5 years, 10 years, 50, whatever else. So that's a point that's well made, and it's interesting to think about. I'm curious to know if there are any interesting like side quests or personal journeys or goals that you know of that certain people have when it comes to the types of cards they're trying to collect. There may not be a great answer here, but I feel like with all of the possibilities, there are probably some interesting strategies or goals that people have out there. I don't know if you know about many of these, but I'd be interested to hear if you do.
I mean, there's certain cards that are definitely a lot more sought after than others. In Series 3 we just came out with, this is our flagship. So we do this one once a year. This is Warriors versus Villains. So we've exposed the WEF and the IMF, and it's a very, very based set of cards. Big Pharma, military industrial complex. We didn't go after particular individuals as the villains. The villains, there's so many of them that it just wouldn't do it justice. We have to go after the companies and the actual entities that are out there making a way bigger impact than one person, because most of them are puppets on a string anyway. So this set in particular, there's a lot of people chasing the Sailor card, because the Sailor card in this set in particular it just turned out absolutely incredible. Then you have the Omega candle. That one's definitely a chase, because if we get an Omega candle, that card in particular is going to be worth quite a bit, I can imagine. So yeah, a lot of it is trying to predict what could come in a meme sense with the cards, and creating some really cool cards around those different ideas, because it's kind of like a rookie card. You have a new rookie that comes on the team, and you have many, but there's going to be only a handful that end up becoming the next Barry Bonds, the next legend in that space. So it's really fun for myself trying to predict some of these things that might happen, and then creating a card around it, because it really does become a rookie card in the beginning. And like the Omega candle, if we actually get something like this to happen, I will be chasing that card myself.
Were there any memes that developed that you guys were kind of caught flat-footed on that you had to quickly try to produce?
So because we produce everything really slow in the way that we really take our time with everything we do, especially coming out with a finite supply, there is no chance to pivot. You spend all the time, you create the art and the education, everything behind it, and when you drop it, your fingers crossed. We are a small company. So anything we produce normally takes us 6 to 8 months. The big set took us 18 months. So even though it comes out once a year, we are overlapping the time putting into each one of these large sets, and large set 21,000 packs, finite supply once a year. So yeah, there is no room for oopses in this company right now. We're too small for that, and it just with as OCD as I am, we'll do everything we can to make sure that'll never happen. But to your point of the memes, it's trying to keep up with everything, but with as fast as this space moves, I mean, every year is 10 years. So we try to just grab onto amazing things as they come as much as possible, but we don't have a whole lot of room to just throw in a lot of different things. So I would say on the meme front, no, we do pretty good at just staying streamlined into what our focus is.